welcome to my channel. I can't believe I am live. This is wild. Now, I was trying to get my YouTube to work so I can see your comments on there, but it's giving me a hard time. So this might have to be an unconventional live, and then I might have to check the comments and then respond another time. But oh my gosh, I'm so excited! I'm so excited to be on with you guys and to really kind of like dig deep into what I was trying to talk about on that video. But first, I just want to start by asking you guys, how are you doing? How are you? How are you doing? How's your day? And maybe you can take a moment and you can ask your own self that, like, how am I doing? Like, really, how am I doing? I think I'm excited. For me, I'm excited. I'm eager. And yeah, I just want to kind of get into this message that I had on my heart that I kind of butchered, right? I kind of butchered. And I think going straight into it, like, my first question was, why did that video go so wrong? And I think it went wrong just because I was unprepared, one, or I wasn't prepared enough. And then two, I didn't personalize it, right? Because this is a personal thing for me. When you grow up with certain circumstances, you tend to be very sensitive to rejection, right? And I think that there are certain circumstances that, I mean, eventually we're probably going to dive into, but just the fabric of who I am as a person, there's certain things that made me more sensitive. I think I've outgrown a lot of those things. Life teaches you to kind of toughen up. But until that happens, you usually have a bit of a softer skin when it comes to rejection, especially repetitive rejection on things that you can't quite change, like you can't quite change so readily, right? It affects you in a way that really, it makes it hard for you to see your own value, because you start questioning your own value just based on how other people are treating you. And so what I really wanted to say in that video was basically that if you are being rejected repetitively, right, depending on how you grew up, depending on what your situation is, if you're experiencing repetitive rejection, then you have to fortify yourself so that the outside rejection doesn't affect you internally, right? Because your value first, right? Your value comes from within. Your value doesn't come from someone else. Someone else's opinion of you is an opinion of you. And yes, it affects how you relate, but it doesn't affect who you are. It doesn't affect the true worth of your being. It doesn't affect that. It shouldn't affect that anyway, right? And so what I was trying to convey in that video is that for you to be able to fortify yourself, you have to go inside. You have to go internal. You have to, for me, I go to God. I go to my maker, because to me, he made me. He made me. I believe he has a purpose for me. I believe that there's direction within my spirit when I'm connected to him. Just like your navigation system will give you direction, I feel like God gives you direction through your spirit. Your spirit will let you know, don't do this, do that. Take this action. This is a good friend. This isn't a good friend. This is a good partner. This is not a good partner. And I think what happens is that sometimes with the experiences that I'm talking about from your past, sometimes those experiences mute what we're feeling. It mutes that direction. And so then we get lost in life, right? We get lost in life. So, yeah, I just wanted to kind of come back and touch base on that. Let me see. I have some things that I wanted to talk about. So again, for the rejection that I'm talking about, there's some rejection that you really can't do anything about, right? Or there's some circumstances for which you're rejected that you can't do anything about, right? Sometimes your appearance, you can't change that quickly. If, let's say, you gained weight, I think I gave an example in the video of like someone a woman who had a child or had a child and your body's not the same. You can't change that so quickly. And sometimes you try your hardest and it still doesn't change. So if people are rejecting you based off of that, right? And rejection is not just like, oh, I don't like you, but if they're making comments like, oh, wow, are you pregnant again? And you're not, right? And you're repetitively getting that question, it's going to make you feel as if you're being rejected, because what they're saying is, you like, what's going on? You don't look normal. Because if you're not pregnant and someone's telling you you're pregnant, they're saying you're fat or you're heavy or you're not looking like you should because there's no baby in your belly, but you're looking like there's a baby in your belly. So that kind of situation where, it's harder for you to work on that. It's not something that you can just change. That can really affect how you see yourself. It can really affect how you see yourself. And another example I gave, I think, was like a young man who you don't expect to be balding but is balding. Um, that's hard. That's hard. We judge. Okay, so they're developmental stages for a reason, right? Because you're supposed to use that as a yardstick to see how you're growing. Are you growing? Are you not? Are you in line with everyone else? Are you behind? And so when you look at a 22-year-old, most 22-year-olds are not balding, right? I actually had a cousin who did bald at 22, and he had a hard time with it. He had a hard time with it. He actually confided in me, and he was just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I didn't expect this. And my hair's just falling out, right? And my hairline is receding. And the thing about that is, because you're kind of the only one going through that, it leaves you feeling like a misfit. You don't fit. You don't fit. And the analogy of being out of season that I was using, listen, I didn't flush it out. I thought it was cute. Okay, I was trying to be cute. I thought I could commercialize it, right? And I love watermelon, like for real, love watermelon. So I go in the store, I see watermelon and it's in season. And I'm like, you know what? I could use this analogy. I could use it, but it didn't really work. Okay, let's be frank. It didn't work. So we're going to drop that analogy. But really what it is that you cannot let the outside noise of you're not good enough, or of I don't like you, I like that person instead, of you're not tall enough, you're not skinny enough, of you're not smart enough. And sometimes it is true. Like, there are people who, they're like, you know what, I don't like you because you're too big. I like the skinny person. And you have to be okay with that. Like, you may really be in a season where you're big. You really may be in a space where whatever it is that they're saying about you is true. And that's the part that I actually want to hone in on. When what they're saying about you is true, it still shouldn't affect your value. Because as long as you have breath in your body, as long as you have breath in your lungs, you have to understand, like, God, when God created us, he put his breath in us. So when you have breath in that is literally God's breath in you. That is valuable. That is valuable. And you don't know where that's going to lead you. You don't know where your path of life is going to lead you. So right now you may be big. You may be big for 3 more years. Okay. And so therefore you may not be able to find a mate, or, hang out with the girls that you want to hang out with. I don't know. Sometimes girls reject each other just because, they're like, you're not. Okay. So let me break it down. As girls, right? We have cliques. And the cliques, like, sometimes they choose each other because they truly like each other. But for the most part, sometimes girls choose each other just because it's a good look, right? And so if you're in a situation where maybe you feel like the girls you really want to hang out with don't want to hang out with you, if you're a student, and especially in middle school. I have a middle schooler, and she can come home one day and just be like, they didn't want to be friends with so and so, and I'm like, why? And she can't explain. They can't explain. It could just be for very frivolous reasons. It could be that you're not tall enough, or you're not sure, or you're not cute enough, or you don't wear the biggest you don't wear the nicest clothes, so I can't be friends with you. Like, they yeah. We can be that way. Okay. So if you're in a situation where you're feeling rejected by people because because they don't think you're good enough, that doesn't mean that you are good enough. See, the reason why it matters is that we are wired to want to survive, right? So our biggest motivator is wanting to survive, for our offsprings to survive, for us to reproduce and then survive, or for us to find community. And in that way, we still survive, right? Because when you're in a community, you can protect yourself. This is like baseline animalistic motivations. And we are animalistic. Like we're humans, but yes, the base of our brain, our reptilian brain, is like baseline animalistic, right? And so for that, what's going to happen is you're gonna want to be accepted, right? Because when you're accepted by a mate, then you can reproduce and you can survive, right? Your offspring will continue to survive, and therefore your genes survive, or you find community, and in that way you still survive because if something happens, like so let's take it to baseline. If we're animalistic, right, and we're communal, then if something happens, you're protected because you have a community, you have a place you belong. There are people you can talk to, there are people who can fight with you, there are people who can protect you, right? And that's the reason why it's so important for us to want to be accepted. And so when you're rejected, it's almost a threat on your survival, right? If you're consistently and repetitively rejected, that is a threat on your survival. You Number one, if you're rejected by a mate, then you can't reproduce, and therefore your genes don't go on. And if you're rejected by a community, or people just don't see you as someone who they would want as part of their community, then that also threatens your survival. Now, this message is not for everybody. It's not. It's not. If you've never felt rejected, if you've never felt rejected repetitively enough where it affects how you see yourself, this message is not for you. And that's another mistake I made, to try to commercialize it. This message is not going to be for everybody. There's some of us who have gone through situations, sometimes as children, where we didn't even ask for the situation. And that situation leaves such an imprint on you that you become highly sensitive to rejection. And so this message would be for you, because I was that person. Okay, this is my testimony too. I was that person. And so if you're going through something that is really making it hard for you to see yourself as valuable, I just want you to start at base level. If you have breath in your lungs, if you are breathing, just start from there. We can work our way up another video. But baseline, if you are breathing, if God's breath is still in you, that is valuable. Don't let anyone else tell you that you're not. Don't let anyone else's rejection of you translate into a lack of value in you. Okay, so maybe you don't have a master's, right? Maybe you really are not on their level. Maybe you really are not what they want. It still doesn't mean you're not valuable. And that was the essence of the message that I was trying to bring. It's unfortunate that my YouTube comments weren't working. So if you did leave a comment there, I would definitely come back to check it out. But at least I tried a live. Like, I haven't been on a live in so long. I think this is my second live just period on this channel. So at least I tried a live. And yeah, we're going to do more of these lives. Now, I want to end with a journal prompt, right? I have many journals. I actually did a video sharing some of my journals with you guys, because for me, journals are ways for us to kind of like pour our thoughts out on paper, right? Pouring our thoughts out on paper, because when your thoughts are jumbled up in your head, sometimes the best way is to pour your thoughts out on paper. And also another good way to get to know yourself, know who you are, right? When rejection affects you in a negative way, and okay, So when rejection affects you in a way where you start questioning your worth, it's usually because you don't know yourself. It's usually because you don't know yourself well enough. And journals can help you do that. Journals can help you get to really know yourself. And this one right here that I want to share with you guys is Oh Happy Day. It's a guided journal to celebrate all the joy in the world. And so the one that I really want us to do today, you can put your response in the comments. The one that I really want us to do today is called Focus on the Good. And the question says, what was your favorite thing about today? What made it stand out for you? So for me, my favorite thing about today, um, I went for a walk today. I went for a walk today, and I did some meditation, and I did some stretches. My favorite time was my walk. My favorite time was my walk. Um, I actually enjoyed it. I haven't been doing walks in a while, and so going on a walk today was really enjoyable for me. I was able to kind of take in my surroundings, listen to the sounds of, the wind through the leaves of the trees. Like, y'all, I'm dorky like that, but I love the outdoors. I love nature, it grounds me. And so being outside, being outdoors was just, it was an uplifting experience for me. And so yeah, that was my favorite part about the day. What made it stand out because it grounded me. It grounded me. That's what made it stand out. And I felt it within my soul that I was being grounded. I felt it within my soul that whatever energy, whatever emotions, whatever was going on within my body, I felt myself grounding. I felt myself just like calmly grounding. Um, and so it was, yeah, it was good for me. It was good for me, and I really enjoyed it. Um, yeah, I told you guys this is going to be a short one. This is a really short one. And really, it's kind of like a test, right? It's a test live um, to see how things will go when we actually do go live more often. So yeah, I'm really excited to keep doing this, and I'm definitely gonna make sure that um, my YouTube comments can pop up the next time I do that. But I thank you guys so much for watching. I actually saw people watching, like people were watching me. What on a live? Um, yeah. I thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.